What's going on, guys? Thank you for tuning in to the BS show. We got some huge fight news in the works. The UFC is trying to put together a TJ Dillashaw versus Henry Cejudo fight in Anaheim, California at UFC 233. I believe that is at the end of January. This is a huge fight. Henry Cejudo, as we all know, beat Demetrious Johnson, who in a lot of people's minds is the pound-for-pound #1 fighter. In his post-fight interview, Henry Cejudo called out TJ Dillashaw. He said, "I want to fight you. I don't care if it's at your weight. I don't care if it's at my weight, but I want to be the champ." Henry Cejudo, as we know, is a gold medal wrestler and now a UFC champion. And TJ Dillashaw just came off 2 decisive wins over Cody Garbrandt, and he's ready to roll, and he might be the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the UFC right now. So that's a big fight potential to happen, so let's pray that that fight happens, ladies and gentlemen. In other fight news, we have Dominick Cruz with a potential fight against John Linekar on that same exact card at UFC 233. Dominick Cruz, as we all know, is a former champion, a former dominant champion, and he's had an injury-riddled career. He recently broke his arm. He was due back to fight after he had a decisive loss to Cody Garbrandt, and he just broke his arm and he couldn't stay healthy. So now he is back, and John Linekar and him will be squaring off at UFC 233. If you do not know John Linekar, he's a very heavy-handed fighter. He's kind of a one-trick pony, in my opinion. He tries to land that heavy hand, and if he doesn't, he can't really do much. So this is a good fight for Dominick Cruz to get back if he can win this fight. I feel like it will project him back maybe into title contention and have a rematch with TJ Dillashaw, who he very narrowly beat last time. And the last news I wanted to break was supposedly, as I stole from Gorilla MMA's Instagram page, they said that the UFC will be dissolving the entire flyweight division. So now looking back on that trade with one championship where we traded, or where the UFC traded Demetrious Johnson, it kind of makes sense now. They probably knew, or I'm assuming they knew, they were going to dissolve and get rid of the flyweight division altogether. So now it makes sense. According to this, they will be cutting a lot of the fighters if they can move up to bantamweight, or even if they can't, probably depending on their contracts and how much they're getting paid, they're going to get cut. I don't know if I like this move. I'm sure it's a business move for the UFC because the flyweight division has not been very competitive because Demetrious Johnson was running through that. There's not a lot of talent down there as far as viewership anyways. I believe there's a lot of talent, but when the flyweight fight happens, there's not a huge amount of viewers that tune into that fight. So I'm sure it is a business decision by the UFC. So let me know in the comments below what you think of this UFC 233 card. So far, it looks like it's going to be a really good card. And let me know what you think about dissolving the flyweight division. Do you think it's a good move? Do you think the UFC should cut the guys, or should they give them an opportunity to fight at bantamweight? Thank you for tuning in to the BS show. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.